Welcome back, everyone. Oz here, and today I've got some r/OhNoConsequences. As per usual, I'll be reading you the post, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Cross-posted from Best Of, and this one was collected by Lucy Aria Rose, and their tagline is, "I'm keeping the garlic." The original OP is, "Who even is that 5?" posted to r/Am I the Asshole, July 9th, 2023. Am I the asshole for telling my fiancé my daughter has to be in our wedding? I, 45 male, have a daughter, Polly, from a previous relationship. I divorced my ex-wife on good terms, and we share 50-50 custody of Polly. She is now 11. After I divorced my ex-wife, I met my now fiancé, Sharon. Sharon and my daughter get along very well. After 5 years in my relationship with Sharon, I proposed. Sharon was super excited and wanted to start planning right away. She looked at venues and started asking her friends to be her bridesmaids. She then told me she wanted her niece to be a flower girl, which I had no problem with. But I said I also wanted Polly to be a flower girl. Sharon looked at me funny and then said that she didn't think that Polly would fit the part. I got angry and told Sharon that my daughter would be in our wedding. Sharon started to become upset and said that the girls in the wedding were up to her, and Polly wouldn't be one of them. I told Sharon that if Polly wasn't in the wedding, then there might not be a wedding. I stormed out and took Polly to get ice cream. Polly knows we're getting married and told me she thinks she'll look pretty in whatever dress Sharon decides she should wear. This broke my heart, and I decided to text Sharon. I told her I would be staying at a friend's to think this over. My mother-in-law texted me saying I'm overreacting and that my daughter doesn't have to be in my wedding. And I was an ass for saying that I would cancel. So, did I take it too far, saying I will cancel? Am I overreacting or just being a good dad? Edit. Thanks everyone for the comments and suggestions. I will post an update in the near future. Relevant comments. Did you propose alternatives to the flower girl position? OP responded, I said I wanted her in the wedding in some shape or form. I wanted her to be a part of our day and not be sitting with the guests while we walk down the aisle. Fiancé said it would be best if she just sat with my parents. Many have suggested a junior bridesmaid, but my fiancé still declines. I did tell my fiancé she will be in the wedding, and if that means she has to be a groomsman, then so be it. Fiancé blew up saying she's not a boy and my side is only for boys. She denied my request to have a father-daughter dance with Polly, so this is why I'm rethinking the whole wedding. Sharon and I are going to talk tonight, and hopefully, she will give me a full reasoning. Question: has Polly ever said anything about Sharon treating her poorly? OP responded with the following. Polly has never voiced any concerns about Sharon treating her badly. I have never seen anything happen between them, so this was very out of the blue. Surprisingly, Sharon has never had an issue with Polly until wedding talk. The two have always been super close, so her reaction shocked me for sure. I would have never popped the question if Polly wasn't comfortable. I totally understand where you're coming from. I do think it's crazy that I haven't seen any signs. I've talked to Polly and told her to tell me if anything has ever happened. Polly can't recall a single time Sharon was mean to her. Question: could race, weight, or disability be a factor in this? OP responds, yes, I made this post late last night and am just now reaching all the comments. My daughter is not disabled. She is on the average weight scale for an 11-year-old, and all of us in this situation are white. OP clarifies that his fiancé is 39 years old. Small update in the comments on the same day. Talked to her mom this morning because I wanted Polly to stay with her until this was figured out. Her mom said she hopes it goes well and told me I could stay with her and Polly if need be. She said Polly always comes home with nothing negative to say, so we aren't sure where this came from. OP is voted not the asshole. Also, can I just add as an addition here, it's actually kind of heartwarming to see two parents who are divorced on amicable terms and actually willing to talk to each other. That is something that I wish I had while growing up. Update post, July 9th, 2023, 15 hours later. Hey Reddit, thank you everyone for all the kind words and suggestions. To answer a few questions, my daughter is not disabled, chubby, or having an awkward phase, braces/glasses. Honestly, quick odds insert here, none of these options would have been anything to justify her not being part of the wedding. I did ask if Polly could be a groomsman. Sharon immediately shot me down. Sharon is 39. She is the same race as my daughter. This is her first marriage. I tried to answer as many comments as possible. I came home to talk to Sharon today. When I pulled in our driveway, my mother-in-law was sitting there in her car. I got out and went inside, trying to avoid talking to mother-in-law. Sharon was sitting at the kitchen table, and I joined her. She sat in silence, so I asked the first question. Why does Polly not fit the part, and why don't you want her in the wedding at all? Her answer full-on shocked me. She quietly said, I was hoping that after the wedding you could become a holiday visit-only dad. I didn't want her in the wedding so she wouldn't be in the photos around the house since she wasn't going to be around much. Whoa! What the fuck? I kept my cool, calmly took her hand, and pulled my engagement ring off. Her eyes started to tear up. She said we shouldn't end the marriage over this and that she can change. I told her the damage was already done. I told her I wanted her things moved out by next week and that she could come get them when my daughter wasn't home. The house is in my name and I paid for it. I was allowing her to get her furniture that she paid for. She stormed out and mother-in-law came knocking on the door saying I was being unreasonable. I couldn't imagine only seeing my daughter 3 or 4 times a year. The fact that Sharon wanted me to give up part of my custody blew me away. I'm sitting on my couch just in shock. Our honeymoon was supposed to be in Hawaii, but it looks like me and Polly will be going instead. I'll update again if anything happens. Relevant comments. People are once again skeptical that there was no bad behavior by Sharon towards Polly in the past. Obi responded to this with, I have truly never noticed a thing. Polly has never said anything negative about Sharon and asked her mom early today when she will get to see her again. Second update, July 29th, 2023, 20 days from the last update. Hello everyone, thank you for all the kind comments and suggestions for Hawaii. We flew a few days ago and Polly is already having a ton of fun. If you have any cool suggestions, please drop them in the comments. As for my ex-fiancée, she's tried to reach out to me, wanting to work everything out, saying she only did it because her mom wanted pure grandchildren. I still do not care. If she really loved my daughter, she wouldn't have acted on her mother's wishes. Sharon has called my workplace to try and get in touch with me. She has even shown up a few times to try and talk to me, and I've told my supervisor to just ask her to leave. She has gone as far as messaging my ex-wife a few times, wanting to know why her calls won't go through to me. When she caught wind that we were in Hawaii, she was pissed. I'm still close with her brother, and he told me that her and her mom were going to try to get plane tickets. If that's the case, I will likely file a restraining order. Polly has asked what happened to Sharon, and I told her that we come as a package deal, and Sharon only wanted me, and I couldn't leave her. Polly understood, but I think she was a little heartbroken. I know this update is small, but it's all I have for those asking. Relevant comments. Did your former future brother-in-law have any light to shed on Sharon and his mom's behavior? Opie responds, her and her brother are not very close and grew up in different homes as my ex-mother-in-law and father-in-law are divorced. Her brother and dad are pretty awesome though. We went and had drinks a few days after the storm of Sharon and her mom. And that's where it ends in the OhNoConsequences thread. Yeah, honestly, the whole concept of having pure grandchildren, that just sucks. Like, I wasn't expecting this to have a little bit of a crossover with Mother-in-Law from Hell, but honestly, yeah. What's crazy is that none of this would have happened if Sharon hadn't let the mother-in-law weasel her way in for her request for pure grandchildren. Part of me fully believes that, Sharon and her mother fully believed that once the knot was tied and the paperwork was all signed, then that's when they would drop the bombshell on OP of, oh, by the way, Polly's only allowed to be here during holidays now, hoping that because the knot was tied and not wanting to complicate things, he would just give in and just walk away from his daughter. So that way they could pursue having pure grandchildren. Good on the dad for standing up for his daughter. Cross-posted from r/am I the asshole, would I be the asshole, public. Am I the asshole for refusing to let my mom back into my life after she abandoned me at 12? When I was 12, my mom walked out. No fight, no warning, no explanation. She just packed her bags and left with her new boyfriend. After that, nothing. No calls, no letters, no birthdays, just silence. My dad raised me on his own. He worked 2 jobs, sacrificed sleep, and gave up everything to make sure I had food and a roof over my head. He showed up to every school event, every milestone, every hard moment. He's the one who was there, and he's my real parent in every way that matters. One of the worst memories I have is from middle school. I won a big award, and everyone else had both parents there, taking pictures and cheering. I stood there alone with just my dad, trying to smile while feeling this huge hole where she should have been. That day, it hit me. She didn't care enough to come back, no matter how important the moment was. I used to cry myself to sleep wondering why she didn't want me. For years, I kept hoping she'd come back, and eventually, I stopped waiting. I built walls around myself and told myself I didn't need her. Now, 15 years later, out of nowhere, she reaches out. She says she's sorry, she misses me, and she wants to be part of my life again. She's acting like we can just pick up where we left off. I told her no. I said I don't want to rebuild a relationship after all this time, especially when she chose to leave me and made no effort to come back. She cried, said I was cruel and heartless, and some extended family I barely talked to are pressuring me to be the bigger person and give her a second chance. The truth is, she feels like a stranger to me. I don't know her anymore. But there's a tiny part of me that wonders if I'll regret shutting the door on her forever. So, am I the asshole for refusing to let my mom back in after everything? I like how oftentimes be the bigger person can be translated into just be the doormat here. And prioritize their feelings over yours, especially when they're the one who wronged you, because every single time being the bigger person is almost exclusively in regards to someone screws you over, and now it's your responsibility to apologize to them for some reason, or to just simply let it slide. They don't learn their lesson, they get to continue being a bastard, and guess what? You better wear that smile, or else extended family you don't even know is going to reach out to you and asking you why you're being so cruel to the person who screwed you over. If OP's mother actually gave a shit and wanted to be part of their life, they wouldn't have waited 15 years after they abandoned them when they were 12. My mind immediately jumps to the fact that the mom either met someone who's now asking questions, why did you abandon your son? Or perhaps she needs something, needs money, needs an organ transplant, or God knows what. I tend to doubt that after 15 years, they have a miraculous change of heart and character and suddenly want to rebuild connections. And if they do have good intentions, which I doubt considering their reaction to how OP responded, then this is just the consequences of what you did 15 years ago. You can't just walk away 15 years ago and expect to come back like nothing happened. It's just not how that works. Cross-posted from r/entitled people. My friend kept messing with my dog after I told her not to, got bitten, and now she wants me to pay for her treatment. I'm 29 female, and I have a 3-year-old rescue dog. He's a really sweet boy, but he does not like people touching his face or grabbing at him suddenly. I always tell people this up front when they meet him, and most of the time, it's never an issue. The problem is my friend A. She's been over to my house a few times, and every single time she's around my dog, she tries to boop his nose or grab at his face, even after I've told her not to. I've already had to pull her hand back before because she just laughs it off and insists he likes her. Last weekend, she was over again, and while I was in the kitchen, I suddenly heard her yell. She had gone over to my dog while he was laying down and grabbed his cheeks. He snapped and bit her hand. It wasn't super serious, more like a warning bite, but it did break the skin. I cleaned it for her right away and told her to go get it checked. Now, she's mad at me and saying I should cover her medical costs because it's my dog and therefore my responsibility. I honestly don't feel like that's fair because I warned her repeatedly not to touch his face. She kept ignoring me and pushing boundaries, and this is the result. She's making it into a huge thing now and accusing me of choosing my dog over our friendship because I won't pay. From my perspective, she ignored clear boundaries and got herself bitten. So, this is going to be kind of hard to say, but I think both people are in the wrong here, and I'll break it down. Morally, OP is 100% in the right, but unfortunately legally and just how, messy some laws can be in some states, assuming they're in the US, OP is still liable and on the hook for the dog bite. Both parties are going to face consequences here. Party 1, friend A, didn't listen to OP's warning, didn't listen to the advice, proclaimed that they know for a fact the dog likes them, so therefore they can keep pretty much fucking with it, and are now shocked when the exact thing that OP warned them about happened after they kept ignoring previous warnings. However, and I'm not saying this because I agree with it, I am just stating this because this is unfortunately the cold hard truth. If it were up to me, I'd say the only person who should be facing consequences is friend A for ignoring OP. But The dog is a liability that OP accepted. If they knew that their friend was repeatedly breaking boundaries, they should have done something to make sure the dog was either put away or access to the dog was just entirely revoked. OP is the one that, despite their dog's boundaries being consistently crossed, they chose to keep bringing that friend around their dog. An example, not leaving the friend alone with the dog while you're in the kitchen. Like, it sucks, but OP is more than likely, depending on their state, on the hook for the injury their dog caused. This is kind of the rare double-handed consequences we're looking at here. Not to mention there's also the argument of how they crossed, like, not only just like the dog's boundaries, but also OP's boundaries, and were just in general being a bad friend and are now putting the whole argument forward of, even though I'm the one who did this to myself, you're the one who's choosing your dog over our friendship by not paying for my mistakes after you warned me. Like, that just sucks. Like, that's not a good friend to keep around, and honestly, I'd cut that relationship off. But unfortunately, and honestly, I'd probably consult an attorney about this specifically, you might be on the hook for getting their hand checked out at any kind of, urgent care or hospital. Even if it doesn't need stitches, it's still a good idea to get that checked out. Cross-posted from r/am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for making my younger sisters fly home early after they followed my husband? I have two younger sisters who are 15 and 17. They came to visit my husband and I on what was supposed to be a 5-week trip. Unfortunately, it had to end early after they were caught following my husband while he was having dinner with a client. I told them they had to leave immediately because I could tell my husband was close to exploding, and even though they kept begging me to hear them out and to let them stay, I wouldn't. I called our dad to let them know they would be coming home early and why, which didn't go over well. My stepmother wanted me to let them stay until the morning so they could fly back in the daytime. But I told her it wasn't possible and they had to leave immediately. I'm supposed to be visiting soon, but my sisters have told our dad that they don't want to see me. And my stepmother said I wasn't welcome in their house after what I did to them. The reason my husband was so angry is because the client was the one who noticed them taking pictures of them, and when he confronted them, they were rude to her and to him. Am I the asshole? So, I was shocked to open this up on the actual original post and see that Reddit deemed this person the asshole. So out of curiosity, I thought, hey, why not just dig into this and see why? And oh, fucking boy, this is just a classic example of Reddit being Reddit. It's also probably an example of teenagers trying to cover for teenagers because a lot of these responses just seem to be disconnected from reality. Starting off with this comment thread, Eidked comments, has your husband always had these ultra extreme rage issues? Sounds very disturbing. OP responds, he doesn't have any rage issues. KMats comments, people without rage issues don't explode over stuff like this. OP responds, are you telling me that if your relative did something that could cost you the big client you and your family have had a good relationship with for years, potentially lose you a lot of money in future business, and hurt your reputation, you wouldn't be furious? User Dear OP comments, wait, you know this client and both of you have had a long relationship with her, business relationship, and he couldn't explain they were being dumb kids, apologize, have them apologize and call you and send them back to you? Why wouldn't a client that's had a good relationship for so long suddenly pull away, costing your family money after this one incident? I'm still not judging, but the more you explain, the more confusing this work relationship / what occurred gets. Something isn't sounding right. Either you're not explaining it well or something else is fishy. And I'm going to echo what I suggested before about having a conversation with your sisters to clear things up, because it's very much needed from how all this sounds. Commenter OK Neighborhood 1600 comments, she legit said they were being rude. They didn't want to listen to reason, which is probably why they were even angrier. And now we enter in from comments from Spetsnaz, which is an entire saga. Define being rude. Did OP's husband just come storming over and screaming off the top of his head? They weren't rude to the client after getting caught. If I'm a young, dumb teen who just got caught taking pictures of the guy I think is cheating, and he just comes over screaming and yelling and whatnot, then yeah, I can see them being rude. That's a hell of an assumption. User Gapsust Orfein comments, quote, they weren't being rude to the client after getting caught, unquote. OP literally said that they were. It's in the post. You don't even need to find a comment for it. Spetsnaz responds, I don't understand how / why is the client walking over there too? If the OP's husband recognizes them, he should tell her to wait a second while he confronts them. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing this even close to being right, but Gabsuthrod find comments. Maybe they walked over there. Maybe they were just loud enough for her to hear. There's a number of ways. Spetsnaz responds, imagine you're in the sister's shoes. You're taking pictures of this even. One of two things has to happen to be caught. Either OP's husband yells out, or he approaches. If he yells out, why the fuck would the sisters come over? If when caught and I'm a teenage girl, I'm trying to bail as soon as possible. So if the husband shouts out, the girls statter, or they're too nervous to approach and the husband walks over. There is zero feasible scenarios where the girls just walk over to the table. Gabsuthrod find comments. Quote, there is zero feasible scenarios where the girls just walk over to the table, end quote. This is the most ridiculously stupid argument. Sure, it's fully impossible the girls could have been rude to the husband's client. There's no possible way they'd ever make it anywhere near to the table because you personally would have been too nervous to if it was you. Every teenage girl has the exact same personality and decision-making process as you imagine you would have if you were in this situation. How did I not realize that sooner? It was also spelled out that the girls were being rude to the client in addition. And the only evidence we have of the husband being angry is, I told them they had to leave immediately because I could tell my husband was close to exploding. And the reason why the husband was angry is because the client was the one who noticed them taking pictures of them, and when he confronted them, they were rude to her and him. More comments from a deleted user. I think you're not the asshole. Reminder, you're in Reddit. These people don't have real professional jobs or families they want to protect. They tell people to quit jobs and leave their husbands for the most innocuous and normal things on almost every thread here. Which on this channel, I've had plenty of rants and tangents about how it pisses me off that Reddit will jump to no contact over the smallest little disagreement. Hope you responded to that comment. I've noticed. I've had a lot of people telling me my husband is 100% cheating on me based on absolutely nothing. It would be annoying if it wasn't so ridiculously funny. Take note on this next exchange because this does come up in a future comment section down the line. User Peanut Galleries responds, it's just that there's absolutely nothing in your post that justifies sending minors home on a night flight instead of waiting for the next day to send them home as a punishment. So it seems to many people that there are parts of the story missing. OP responds, as someone who has flown at night alone when I was younger than them, there's no difference. The only issue is that it was an inconvenience for my dad or their mother to have to pick them up at that time. Also, in my opinion, airports are safer at night. That's just my feeling though, because it's not like it's dark in the airport, it's still very well lit. And additionally, there's less people, so if something happens, it's easier to bring attention to yourself rather than being in a large crowded environment where someone could easily just be slipped away with the crowd. Another comment from Major Zucchini 5315. There's still so much info that's missing. Where were you when they followed your husband? How did you not know they left the house? Do they have a car? How did they follow your husband without anyone knowing? How did they know where he was in order to take pictures? OP responds, I was at home. I knew they had left the house, but I assumed they were exploring the area. No, they were using Uber to get around, because I gave them too much freedom and wasn't keeping track of everything they were doing. You can get into his calendar from most of our devices, so I'm assuming they saw it on my iPad, but I don't know for sure. Major Zucchini responds, so your underage sisters looked on your devices, found your husband's calendar, ordered an Uber, and followed him to his meeting, all without you noticing? Like, this is phrased like it's a gotcha, but, like, honestly, yes, that is very much a teenage thing to do. Obi provided this additional comment for context in a different comment thread. They think he was acting shady because he was barely home while they were there, as he was working. I didn't want to listen to them because I knew they were just going to make excuses for why they did what they did, and it wasn't going to change the situation as there was no way my husband was going to be okay with them staying after what happened. Now, the reason why that one was there is because there's this additional comment thread here. Crazy Purple 621 comments, when minors are your guests, you have chosen to take responsibility for their safety. OP let them run wild in an Uber and then abandon them at night at an airport because she's afraid of her husband. Fire2374 responds, this alone makes OP the asshole. She's responsible for them, lost them, and is now reacting to their absence. Crazy Purple further responds, "If I was her dad, I would be pissed about her allowing them to Uber around town without her knowing before any of the rest of it happened. She's extremely irresponsible for that alone." OP responds, "My dad is the one who suggested they use Uber to explore themselves when he asked me to let them stay with me. LOL. This also furthers the fact that OP, while being younger than the 15 and 17-year-old, had flown at night. The parents are pretty goddamn irresponsible, and it's very clear that OP had grown up in this environment and is used to it. Again, the only reason why the mother and father weren't willing to pick them up at night was because it inconvenienced them. And to top it all off, this final comment exchange. Freddy IQ comments, "Is this possible? His client is an attractive woman and they thought he was cheating on you and were trying to gather evidence? This sounds like something a 15 and 17-year-old sisters could do, no?" OP responds, "That's pretty much what they were trying to do." Freddy IQ responds further, "This sounds like something that was done from a place of love and care for you. Did you explain to them that you're not worried about your husband cheating and he will continue meeting his clients and some of them will be attractive? But it's not looks what connects humans. Their brains are not fully developed at this stage. I think it's a bit like telling off a toddler for a tantrum. In 5 to 10 years, they'll look at this and be ashamed of what they've done. But now, they lack the tools to do so." I really do hate how much Reddit infantilizes teenagers sometimes, because it literally will sometimes treat a 17-year-old and an 8-year-old as if they have the same cognitive processing power. User Much Meringue, User Much Meringue, 7467. I hope that's at least somewhat close to the pronunciation. Comments, "Few clients would appreciate this situation. No one needs this sort of drama in their business dealings." User Intrepid Links responds, "Yeah, and if this was a business dinner to make negotiations for a big bucks deal, husband could have lost out on an extra 5 to 6 figures in his paycheck. If the client goes around telling others in their line of work to stay away from him because of this, it puts his whole career at risk. I'd be pretty explosive too if a 15 and 17-year-old potentially cost me my job." I could keep going with these and how Reddit is just finding every possible excuse for the 17-year-old and the 15-year-old but is giving OP no benefit of the doubt. Hell, there was even a fucking comment about how OP's husband is obviously some older abusive guy who's going after younger women and that's why he was so explosive in this ordeal. Despite the fact that OP actually commented that her and her husband are 28 and 27. I could understand some argument about the whole airport at night situation, but the problem at hand is that the parents were just inconvenienced by it. I would 100% be willing to argue that the father, providing them Uber so they could get around, is far more dangerous and risky than them going to the airport at night, which, by the way, is staffed by TSA agents, an actual airport security network. I am definitely not saying that TSA is a bulletproof security network that's 100% safe, but I definitely argue it's going to be safer than having a 17 and 15-year-old Uber alone in a city. The sisters followed OP's husband to a business dealing, were taking photos, disrupted the business dinner, got caught, and faced the consequences for stalking OP's husband and being rude to his client. But in the end, this is just me. My opinion is not a monolith, and I'd be curious to hear what you guys think. Where do you disagree with me? Do you agree with me? Did I completely drop the ball on this one, as I sometimes do? Let me know in the comments below. Cross-posted from r/drew off my chest. I put a grenade in my relationship with my wife. I lost everything, and have nobody to blame but myself. I just need to get this out. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not justifying anything. I fucked up, and it's my fault. I just need to get this out because there's no one I can talk to. My wife and I were having issues, just the usual issues, the struggle and strain of life, raising a family, etc. We were struggling, and nothing was getting better. And I felt like I wasn't good enough, that I never would be. And then I met Carly, online. She was much younger than me, so we just talked. But then she started flirting with me, and it made me feel good. I didn't tell her I was married, didn't want her to stop flirting. I told myself it wouldn't go anywhere. I was just enjoying the attention, and we were just talking. She lived on the other side of the world, there was no chance of us meeting, and then we had cybersex. I felt better than I had in ages. Cybersex then became video and phone sex, anytime my wife was out. We sent photos and videos every day. The more I spent time with Carly, the more I couldn't stand being with my wife, so I broke up with her. I didn't tell my wife about the affair, I gave other excuses, but my wife knew something was up and found out about the affair. It broke her. She didn't eat, didn't sleep, she cried all the time. I justified it by telling myself my wife is a strong woman and she'll get over it. I hate myself for thinking that way, but I did. My wife went to therapy, stopped crying, started eating and sleeping again, started smiling again, stopped begging me not to leave. And I thought, great. See, I was right. I stopped feeling guilty. I felt relieved. My wife and I had to live together for a while until I found a place, but I barely saw her and she barely spoke to me. At first, it was great. But then I started to feel off, like I had come home to an empty house even though it wasn't. At that point, I should have seen it. Should have stopped. Instead, I started to resent my wife. Somehow in my mind, she was trying to sabotage my happiness. It made me angry. I snapped. Made passive-aggressive comments. I hate myself for every word, every nasty text, every accusation. I moved out. Living with my wife had been awkward, but the new place was, I don't know. Even though I'd rarely see her, every room contained her presence, even when she wasn't there. But staying in the new place made me feel more alone than I ever had. I had free run to talk to Carly anytime I wanted, to do anything I wanted, but it felt so pointless. The new place felt so fucking awful, like a prison. I started to dread going home. I'd stay out for hours, hang around supermarkets, wander the streets, sit on a park bench, anything but go home. Even if it meant not talking to Carly. And then, one time I passed a perfume shop and smelled my wife's perfume, and I don't know why, but I broke down. In that moment, I didn't want to talk to Carly. I wanted my wife. Carly and I broke up. I thought I'd miss her. I didn't. I missed things my wife did, small things, big things. I didn't miss a single thing Carly did. During handover of our daughter one day, I blurted out that Carly and I broke up. I don't know why. I didn't even mean to. It just came out. My wife nodded and said, "I'm sorry to hear that." And I don't know why, but that stung. She didn't say it spitefully. She was calm and pleasant. Like we were just talking about the weather or something. I almost wish she did say it with some spite or glee or something, but she didn't. Anytime I try to talk about us or what happened, my wife shuts the conversation down. She's civil, but she looks at me like I'm a stranger. The other day, I put my hand on her back just out of habit, and she looked so disgusted. I've never seen her make that face, and certainly not at me. I feel so broken. And I know it's all my fault. I know I did this. I deserve all of this. I sabotaged everything good in my life. For nothing. For a lie. Carly didn't know I was married, and nobody knew I was even seeing anyone else, even months after the separation. What was I doing? I got served divorce papers this morning. I'm not looking for sympathy. I don't deserve it. I know I'm a selfish, stupid prick. I know it's all my fault. I wish I could go back, but I can't. And the worst part is, I don't even know why I did it. Yeah, we had problems, but I can think of 1,000 ways to fix them now. Why didn't I think of them then? I'm sitting here, staring at the divorce papers, and I don't know what to do. My first instinct was to fight them, but I can't. I shouldn't. I want to fight it so bad it hurts, but I can't. Not after what I did. I ended up calling in sick, and I've been sitting at the kitchen counter, crying, thinking about everything I did, everything I said, wishing I could take it all back. There's no one I can talk to about this. The person I'd normally talk to is my wife. But I fucked that up. Everyone hates me. My friends, my family. It's deserved hate. I deserve all of this. I did it to myself, to everyone. I just want to get it off my chest because I don't know what else to do or where else to turn. I guess internet strangers are my only option. There's a comment below in the OhNoConsequences thread from Stephen Slow. Not him deleting his hit posts such as, "How can I get my wife to stop ignoring me?" and "Would I be the asshole to hire a private investigator to spy on my wife and her new boy toy?" He sounds like such a catch. I can't believe she moved on from him. All he did was one tiny little mistake. He's not looking for sympathy, really. It's just so fucked up how his frigid wife, he literally broke up with her months ago, stopped calling her wife, LOL, won't even let him touch her anymore. Mad fucked up, bro. Won't someone please think of the cheaters? Honestly, if I'm just gonna kind of be a little harsh and honest here, the only really good thing that came out of OP's post is that it can serve as a really good warning for a lot of other people. Like, I can't really feel sympathy for OP here. Like, I can definitely, like, understand, like, the hurt and pain, and I can empathize with that, but I have no sympathy. I've been in a similar position where I've hurt people I cared about and found myself in a hole that I dug. Granted, my hole was dug by hurting others in service to another, but when I found myself in that hole, I built my own ladder. I got myself out, and as I reached the top, I was shocked to find hands reaching down to help me out of it, because they saw the effort I was putting in, and they were willing to give me that second chance. But in OP's case here, he's at the bottom of the hole, and he's just waiting for someone to lower the ladder down towards him. He's talking about how much he's messed up, but when I read this, I don't get the impression that he's trying to fix himself, that he's trying to build himself his own ladder. It feels like he's waiting for either internet strangers or from someone from his past to give him a ladder to climb up on. And that's why I don't have any sympathy. I don't get the impression that he's actually trying to change. And that's where the difference here is. He can talk at length, as he did here, about how he understands his mistake, how he understands the pain he caused, how he regrets the pain he caused. But what are you doing to move forward? What are you doing to be better? Don't forget, this is brought to you by GamerSupps. Use code ODDS at checkout. It's basically a caffeine powder that you put in your water, and I actually really like it. I use this on a daily basis. Don't forget that every purchase you make using code ODDS directly supports the channel. And if you want a personal recommendation from me, I would either recommend the Soda Pressing Pear or Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are currently my favorite flavors. And as a note, once we sell a certain amount of stuff, I get my own flavor and my own cup. And you all know I'm gonna choose some degenerate shit that's gonna make their PR team squirm. My goal is to make them regret partnering with me. So please, use code ODDS at checkout to make my dream come true of making a PR team squirm.